right, Andrea, are we ready?
Yes, we are, Mr.
Thank you.
President.
All right. Well, first, welcome back, everyone, to our first in-person meeting. All right. This is our Cuyahoga County Council regular meeting for Tuesday, July 6, 2021, at 5 p.m. Andrea, would you please call the roll?
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. Calling the roll, Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Schron is absent. Ms. Conwell.
Present.
Ms. Brown.
Here.
Ms. Stevens.
Present.
Ms. Simon.
Here.
Ms. Baker.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Sweeney.
Present.
Council President Jones.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council President?
Yes.
We might want to make a motion for the excusing of Council Member Schron.
Yes, at this time, let's make a motion for our colleague again, Councilman Jack Schron. who is
So
absent.
moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to have a moment of silent meditation for Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department Corrections Officer Horace Wayne Washington, who passed away in June after contracting coronavirus. Thank you. At this time, Andrea, has anyone signed in for public comment?
Yes, Lou.
Ms. Lou, come forward.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry that I still haven't grown any taller vertically to match the microphone. So after this many months, we have been taking care of business virtually. I'm so happy today we are back in person. I really glad I will see all of you smiling and being energetic to continue your good job to help all of the residents in Cuyahoga County. So I'm doing my little part, and I'm here to wish all of us will have a healthy new start. And of course, lots of situations are still ongoing. That's why, please, let's work together, tackle them up, just like our Browns. Thank you.
Andrea, has anyone else signed in for public comment?
No, Mr. Chair, no one else has signed in for public comment.
All right, thank you. At this time, can I have a motion to approve our minutes for our June 22nd Committee of the Whole and regular meeting?
So moved, Brown.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Our minutes are approved. At this time, if we have any messages from our county executive.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, it's great to see everybody back in person and to be together, just like old times. I want to tell you about two interesting meetings I had last week. First, on Tuesday, Bill Mason and I met with the Most Reverend Edward Malesic, Bishop of the Diocese of Cleveland. It was my first meeting with the bishop, and he seems to be actually really a down-to-earth, caring man. We spoke about how we may partner together to help the community, and in particular, we talked about how best to support the diocese jail ministry and programs. Then on Friday, Michelle Pomerantz and I met with the Counsel General of Israel. You may know that Israel is known for its technology startup culture. We discussed some of the initiatives that we're discussing here in the county, especially around water, and he expressed interest in figuring out how we could potentially work together. At the least, it was a productive opening discussion, and I'm hoping that it may lead to more. Thank you.
Legislation introduced by Council. Committee report in consideration of a resolution of Council for second reading.
Resolution 2021-0152, adopting various changes to the Cuyahoga County non-bargaining classification plan.
This item will move to the July 20th, 2021 council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. Committee reports and consideration of an ordinance of council for third reading adoption.
Ordinance 2021-0010, providing for modifications to and adoption of the General Fund Reserve Ordinance and the Health and Human Services Levy Fund Reserve Ordinance.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, my colleagues, this ordinance provides us definite and knowable reserve requirements, updated annually based on actual expenditures. Thanks to Council President Jones, all of my colleagues, Executive Budish, Director Parfiowitz, Brendan Doyle, and Trevor McAleer for your support and cooperation. I recommend passage on third reading.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted. Legislation introduced by executive. Consideration of a resolution for first reading adoption under suspension of rules. Can I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of suspending the rules say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution 2021-0161, amending the 2020-2021 biennial operating budget for 2021 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations, for appropriation transfers, and for cash transfers.
Move to adopt.
Second, comma.
Mr. President, my colleagues, this resolution is the regular agenda of budget amendments. Answers to our questions have been circulated. Items are mostly routine, consisting mostly of appropriations for capital projects, including the Halley Building overhead doors, $173,000, Jail 2 door control, $181,000, Justice Center Tower 2 fire alarm modernization, $670,000, Men's Shelter fire alarm modernization, $193,500. And medical examiner boiler replacement, $295,000. All of these items are on the 2021 capital plan. There are no surprises. There is also an appropriation of $75,000 from private donations for the Dick Goddard Best Friends Fund for treatment and care of animals. I recommend passage on first reading suspension.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Consideration of resolutions for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution 2021-0162, confirming the county executive's reappointment of Reverend Corey Jenkins to serve on the Cuyahoga Community College Board of Trustees for the term June 23rd, 2021 through June 22nd, 2026.
This item will be referred to the Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee.
Resolution 2021-0163, approving right-of-way exhibits as set forth in plat number M50 for replacement of Pleasant Valley Bridge number 09.68 over Cuyahoga River in the City of Independence and Village of Valley View.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2021-0164, approving right-of-way exhibits as set forth in plat number M5049 for rehabilitation of Warrensville Center Road, bridge numbers 0592 East and 0592 West over Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority in the City of Shaker Heights.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2021-0165, authorizing an amendment to contract number 700 with Schindler Elevator Corporation for elevator maintenance and repair services for various county facilities for the period September 1st, 2018 through August 31st, 2021, to extend the time period to August 31st, 2023, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,291,436.75.
This item will also be referred to the Public Works, Procurement, and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2021-0166, authorizing an amendment to contract number 78 with United Labor Agency Incorporated for operation of the Workforce Service Center, Job Seekers and Employer Services, and management of the on-the-job training program. It's for the period July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2021, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $5,776,780.40.
This item will be referred to the Education, Environment, and Sustainability Committee.
Resolution 2021-0167, making awards on requisition 2470 for a master contract with various providers in the total amount not to exceed $1 million for traditional residential treatment services for the period February 1st, 2021 through January 31st, 2023 for items A through J as listed on the printed agenda.
This item will be referred to the Public Safety and Justice Affairs Committee.
Resolution 2021-0168, authorizing an amendment to a memorandum of understanding and agreement among Cuyahoga County, Say Yes Cleveland, formerly known as Say Yes to Education, Inc., Cleveland Metropolitan School District, and Breakthrough Public Schools for the Say Yes Cleveland Strategy Program for the period July 24th, 2019 through July 23rd, 2021, to extend the time period to July 23rd, 2022, to add Near West Intergenerational School, Horizon Science Academy, and College Now Greater Cleveland, Inc. as parties, and to change the terms to establish funding responsibilities during year 3 of the program, effective July 24th, 2021. Also, accepting payments in the amount not to exceed $1,931,300 from Cleveland Metropolitan School District in the amount not to exceed $124,600 from Breakthrough Public Schools in the amount not to exceed $31,150 from Near West Intergenerational Schools and in the amount not to exceed $31,150 from Horizon Science Academy for said program, authorizing a payment in the amount not to exceed $6,052,000 to College Now Greater Cleveland, Inc. as fiscal agent of Say Yes Cleveland.
This item will be referred to the Education, Environment, and Sustainability Committee. Committee report in consideration of a resolution for second reading.
Resolution 2021-0159, adopting the 2021 5-year Economic Development Plan in accordance with Section 7.05 of the Cuyahoga County Charter and Section 801.01 of the Cuyahoga County Code.
This item will move to the July 20th Council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. Discharge from committee and consideration of a resolution for second reading adoption under suspension of rules. Can I have a motion to suspend the rules, 9D and 12S?
Mr. President, I move to suspend those rules.
Second.
All right.
Resolution
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Rules are suspended.
Resolution 2021-0156, adopting the annual alternative tax budget for year 2022.
Move to adopt.
Second, Brown.
Mr. President, my colleagues, this resolution fulfills a state requirement to identify our tax sources and justify the need for them. The annual allocation of inside millage remains the same at 1.00 mils for the general fund and 0.45 mils for debt service. I recommend passage on second reading suspension.
All right, all those in favor say
Mr.
aye.
Chairman? Yes. Or Mr. President? Thank you. I just, the discharge from committee, it's the first time I saw that verbiage. Can somebody explain that to me?
Legal, would you like to give us a?
Yes, the motion to discharge from committee by petition dispensing with the committee review, that's what the discharge is for. Normally, after we read an item into the record for first referral to committee, it goes to committee and it's discussed. This item did not go to committee. It was discussed at a committee meeting, and at that time, the discussion was to move it on to the full council for approval. So since it did not get approved to go forward at a formal committee meeting, we're discharging that rule.
President, to our clerk, thank you very much, and thank you for your patience while I get adjusted. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading adoption under suspension of rules. Can I have a
Pres-
motion?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The rules.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of suspending the rules say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution 2021-0157, making an award on requisition 5580 to Helmuth, Obata, and Casabaum PC in the amount not to exceed $8 million for Criteria Architectural Services for the Cuyahoga County Correction Center project. It's for the period July 6th, 2021 through December 31st, 2025.
Move to adopt.
Second, Simon.
Mr. President, this was heard in committee last Tuesday, as we also received a presentation from Mr. Applebaum regarding the building of a new jail. A lot of information was put on the table, not as much as the committee itself has had, but enough where I think we have sent the message to not only the full council, but the citizens of Cuyahoga County. Time is not our friend. We are in a bad situation with the present jail situation that we do have. We have to move on this. This is a bit, and I would agree, a bit of a cart before the horse. But again, the reality is we are in dangerous waters regarding that jail. Any sense of non-movement, and we will pay a very heavy price. Some things I can't go into here. But as this project moves along, I think it's going to become apparent to everyone involved that that jail has been and continues to be a problem for us and those that use it, and also those that are held there in our custody. They are our responsibility. We've had problems, and this, by moving this legislation forward, provides movement towards the building of a new jail. And again, I understand there are concerns that we're doing things a little bit backwards, but I can assure you, and I would put my personal reputation on the line, we are in no position to not move forward. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Councilman Miller.
my colleagues, I understand the need for an overall project financing plan, but I agree totally with the chairman that construction of a new jail is an absolute necessity, and it has to be done as soon as possible. And also the selection process for the criteria architect was fair and competitive. Therefore, I support the legislation. The new jail will be more humane and less expensive. Our consultation team strongly emphasized population management for both cost and effectiveness and recommended 7 strategies. 1, integrated jail management with better information systems. 2, a jail management plan and an expediter. 3, increased diversion off-ramps at all points. 4, increase mental health and addiction diversion capacity. 5, central booking. 6, pretrial screening. And 7th, bail reform. We would be wise to follow their lead to achieve an affordable jail program that enhances safety and equity. Thank you.
All right, any further discussion?
Mr. President.
Councilwoman.
Thank you, and I too am in agreement that there's no question, especially after going through the presentation we had in the Public Safety Committee, that a jail is needed, and the courthouse is kind of up in the air too as to whether we renovate what's there or whether a new courthouse is built. But I don't see why we can't also get a presentation on how maybe different ways of how this will be financed. I don't know why that would slow us down. I don't know why that's difficult to share. I don't see that as being something that we can't overcome quickly. I mean, this is something that's been in the works for 2 years. We've had a committee come together and present this to us. Plenty of time to let us know how we think we're going to be paying for this jail and probably courthouse too. So I am not going to support this today. I think we do have the time to spend talking about how it can be financed, and I just don't think we're doing our due diligence without knowing that first.
Further discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes, Councilwoman.
just want to say I support this, this ordinance and want to move forward. The jail that we have now is antiquated. It's old. At the time, I think it was state of the art, but things have changed and we know more about jails and how we can make them more humane. So I don't think we can afford to wait. I don't think we can afford to put our residents in our jail in jeopardy and do everything we can to create a humane jail. And so I fully support this, and we need to move forward, in my opinion, with how to house our inmates.
Further discussion? Councilwoman.
Yes. There has been a need for a host of reasons why we need to move forward. Unfortunately, the pandemic had some impacts on how far along that we are, but we have individuals that are in need of a better environment for themselves, and we do not want to lose anybody else, so I am in support of moving forward tonight.
Any further discussion?
President?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President, to my colleagues and dedicated staff. I was a no vote in the beginning for the first piece of legislation, and it was all about not having a presentation. I just want to thank the Chairman of Public Safety for being a man of his word. We had a presentation, and I'll be fully supportive of it, so I want to explain myself. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And any further discussion? Councilwoman.
It's my belief, based on when I joined this council, that we need to progress in doing the homework to get toward what we ultimately need to have. No, we don't have a final dollar amount we need to expend today, but there was the loss of life of a number of persons 3 years ago, and we cannot put off the decision to search for the right kind of facility to house people in Cuyahoga County. We need to begin to evaluate it now. We need to figure out what we don't do as opposed to what we do so that we can figure out just how much money we have to set aside. There are no final answers in what's presented today, but we can get to those final answers if we collaboratively work toward it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other comments? Discussion?
If I may, Mr. President?
Yes.
Just to be clear, I am not against the jail. I am not against moving forward quickly. I am saying, what does it take for us to be able to understand how we are going to afford it? And does the courthouse, are they included in it? And of course, they have to be, so whether we renovate or whether we build a new courthouse. But it's all about, I mean, we can have and want a lot of things, but if we can't pay for it, or if we have difficulty paying for it, I just think that for this body to be accountable for the dollars that we spend, that's not an outrageous suggestion to ask. In the next week to 10 days, how are we going to be able to afford this? What are some different options, at least, of what it is? $500 million for the jail, maybe a couple $100 million for the courthouse. I just don't think that we are far enough along yet to keep putting money into something that we don't know at the end of the day what it's going to cost. How we're going to, we know what it's going to, somewhat in the range of what it's going to cost, but how are we going to pay for it? So that's, I just want to make sure it's clear. I'm not trying to slow anything down. I understand the importance. I just don't think that it is a outrageous suggestion to say in the next week to 10 days, give us some options. This has been going on now for a couple of years. This is not a surprise.
I will be supporting this legislation as well. We know the challenges in this county jail. They need to be addressed. They must be addressed. But this is also an opportunity. We've known, our colleagues have mentioned, the deaths that have occurred in the jail. Again, the physical problems with this building. We must address it. It needs to be dealt with. But this is an opportunity. It is an opportunity to create a more humane environment, humane environment, and I hope the community sees that as the opportunity. And we will address those important questions, dollar amount and all those things. But we dealt with this legislation in the present right now. We dealt with what we needed to in the present. Any further comments?
Mr. President?
Yes,
just
Councilwoman.
Thank you so much. I just want to say there's no amount of money, we can't put a price tag on a human life. And every day that goes by waiting for an ultimate cost, it's not ever going to be worth it when you're talking about human life that could be at risk from the antiquated jail the system that we have, that we inherited. So thank you so much, Mr. President, and our Chair of Safety for bringing this forward with massive amount of information.
Most certainly do our oversight duties. That is without question. If there any further comments? Yes.
Again, Mr. President, thank you. This is not a sexy project. This is not something that everybody's going to want to put their name on. While I understand Ms. Baker's position, I think it's important to know that when we first got elected over 11 years ago, we inherited a juvenile justice center and jail that was, to be kind, a complete mess. And we studied that. I studied that, and I provided that study to the administration and all my colleagues and anybody else that wanted to review it on what not to do to repeat that. I hear tell always about this, well, we're going to do the courthouse. I don't even want to consider it a courthouse. That's not a necessity right now. This is about the jail. This is about moving forward on a jail that's going to cost the taxpayers of this county multiple tens of millions of dollars in financial settlements for the deaths that we incurred. And when I say we incurred them, we incurred them. These people are in our care and custody. That's on this council and on that executive. We live with that. We live with that every single day. I do. The last call I got from the previous sheriff about the last death that we had came in the middle of the night. It's a call that you don't want to get. It wasn't my brother. It wasn't a sister, but it was somebody's brother and somebody's family member. And that digs deep, and it doesn't go away. But knowing that we can do something about that so it doesn't happen again, and it will happen again, but we can provide an atmosphere and a facility where it's less likely to happen, is something that, again, we have to do. I harp on this, and I know it's difficult for some people to understand. Time is not on our side. Morality is not on our side. We're going to find out the finances from the executive. That's a lane in which right now we're not in, but it will come to this council, and we'll look at that plan, and we'll decipher if that's a proper plan to go forward on. But we can't even wait 8 to 10 days. We can't wait till tomorrow. We got to get moving. We waited probably 20 years past movement because it wasn't sexy. It wasn't a fun thing to think about or do. But it's something that has to be done. This council I'm proud of since I've been on it. We have been handed some of the worst situations you could imagine. And many of you have to imagine it because we don't talk about it. But we handled them, and we went forward, and we maybe saved lives. We certainly saved money. And we took the criticism for what we did, because that's what we do. We're the final stop, and we're big people. We can handle it. But to wait any further, like previous peoples have waited, would be irresponsible. We took an oath of office. We have to live up to that oath of office. The portion of the financing will come. We will make a determination on it when it gets here. We will move forward with the architect on this to see if the council is willing to vote this out, to see where we're going as far as what we can do with this facility. Like the president said, this is an opportunity that other councils will not have. We're fixing a problem of 20, 25 years. And in 20, 25 years, I hope to be somewhere up above, looking down, knowing that we did something right.
No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
I have a no.
Mr.
Councilman
Mr. President, I was going to say, would you like to take a roll call vote?
Take a
Thank
roll
you.
call.
Ms. Baker?
No.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Tuma?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Ms. Brown? Ms. Stevens?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Council President Jones?
Yes.
Okay. The motion carries. The item is approved by majority vote with 9 council members voting in the affirmative and 1 council member casting a dissenting vote.
Right.
Resolution 2021-0158, authorizing the appropriation of real property for reconstruction and widening of Sprague Road from Webster Road to York Road in the cities of Middleburg Heights, Parma, North Royalton, and Strongsville. Directing the county executive through the Department of Public Works to proceed with the acquisition of real property required for public highway purposes. Authorizing the fiscal office to issue the monetary warrants to be deposited with the probate court of Cuyahoga County in the amount that is equal to the fair market value of the property.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, with respect to this legislation, this deals with approximately 20 property owners on these streets that they haven't agreed to the fair market value of their property. Many of these individuals have not been in contact with the county because of the COVID situation, so it's been very difficult for the county to deal directly with these individuals. So the county has an obligation to compensate for entry and to restore property at the conclusion through landscaping, et cetera, and the aprons of the driveway. And if a resolution isn't achieved, the probate court has jurisdiction over this to hear the matter and determine what the fair market value is. And this is a necessary step in that process. So I would ask my colleagues to move forward on this legislation. Thank you.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution 2021-0160, authorizing a sole source contract with Enterprise Community Partners, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $1,155,000 to promote the Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Care Tax Credit, and provide free tax preparation assistance to low and moderate income individuals and families for the period July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2024.
Move to adopt.
Second.
This sole source contract was fully vetted in the HHS committee. This contract has always drawn only one bid when posted. Even though it is a sole source contract, it must still be posted for several days. So I ask my colleagues passage of this contract.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
may I please have my name added to that last item?
Councilman Miller's name to the resolution. Consideration of an ordinance for first reading and referral to committee.
Okay. Ordinance 2021-0011, amending Section 206.13 of the County Code, providing for appointment and staggered terms of the members of the Commission on Human Rights.
This item will be referred to the Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee. All right, a very brief agenda this week. Miscellaneous committee reports. Are there
Mr.
any
President.
committee reports?
My colleagues, the next meeting of Finance and Budgeting Committee will be in 2 weeks on Monday, July the 19th at 1 p.m. to discuss the ERP and Harris projects and to hear from Zig Bursens. These will be important updates, and I strongly urge all members of council, whether or not they're on finance, to attend. Thank you.
Mr. President, the Human Resource Appointment and Equity Committee will meet at its regularly scheduled time next Tuesday at 10 o'clock for the items referred.
Mr. President, Public Works will meet at its regularly scheduled time next week to go over the items on the agenda. And if I could, I'd also like to congratulate you on your first public meeting, Mr. President, in person, I should say. You did an excellent job, and also to Mr. Sweeney, who was actually able to see us in person here. So congratulations to both of you, and it's a big day for both of you.
All right, thank you. Is there any miscellaneous business?
I have a committee meeting, too. Can I? Sorry.
I'm sorry, go right ahead.
Just Education, Environment, Sustainability meets at its regular time Wednesday, the 14th at 3 to hear 2 items referred to committee today. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Community Development would like to hold a meeting with Legal Aid of Cuyahoga County to make sure that all of the landlords and potential tenants, especially in suburban communities, understand how our contribution to legal aid earlier this year can help support them. Many of you may have heard the Idea Stream public radio episode within the last 2 days, and it significantly talks about how it not only helps tenants, but it also helps landlords understand what the law does for them, and they will also refer the landlords to CHN Housing Partners for assistance when things have gone wrong. Since we're not over the effects of the pandemic yet, we're not sure we're over the pandemic, this is incredibly important for people to listen to and hear. I urge each of you who are my colleagues to recommend that people you know who are landlords or tenants who are concerned about where they are, if they're behind a month or they think they're going to have problems for landlords making their mortgage payments because they've had a series of tenants who didn't pay on a timely basis. This is basically a way for us to get the word out. So Legal Aid and myself and members of the committee will be listening to them at 10 o'clock Monday the 12th, our regularly scheduled committee time. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councilwoman. Any further committee reports?
Safety, Tuesday, 1 o'clock.
Any other reports? Miscellaneous business? If not, our meeting is adjourned. If nothing else holds our attention. All right, thank you.